World bosses, I think, are good. I don't mind world bosses.
They're just a loop pinata. I think they're like exactly what I feared they would be from the second that I saw them. Like immediately upon seeing the world boss, when the seconds within the announcement, I was like, that's just going to be a loop pinata. That's
Lost Ark does it better.
Lost Ark is trash. No, bro,
Korean
no.
pay-to-win game does this better.
No. Dude, I
and
can't
by the
disagree
way,
more.
it does it a lot better.
No, it's they can do that, bro. They've got RTS games. It's not hard for it to make a path and go around, but it feels bad.
I think gear in general is kind of boring. I think the best example of that is the weapon ability pool. My thoughts on Diablo 3. All right, let's start over. My thoughts on Diablo 4. So, let's talk about, obviously, the campaign.
Classic.
I think the campaign was very good. I liked the campaign. Campaign was very well put together, and just overall, I liked the cinematics. I think it flowed together very well. Everything was voice acted. There were great little cutscenes. Nothing is bad about the campaign. I think the campaign was a universal W, and I was very happy about it. I also think that it left off on a position to where it definitely opens up the possibility for expansions, and it's obvious what those expansions are going to be, right? You've got the Mephisto shit. Like, obviously, I mean, how many fucking times have we killed Diablo? Like 15? And he keeps coming back. I'm sure Lilith will be back too. So you've got Diablo himself, Baal, fucking Mephisto, like all that stuff. Yeah. So campaign was amazing.
True.
The gameplay, this is the best way for me to describe the gameplay for Diablo 4.
Okay.
I think that the levels 1 through 80 in Diablo 4, 1 through 70, maybe a little bit to 1 to 80, depending on your RNG, are better than PoE. And I think 70 to 100 or 80 to 100, depending on RNG and how well you play and stuff like that, that part is better in PoE.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. Wait, what the fuck? That's crazy. Wait, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, I probably hard dis. I mean, I think I hard disagree there. But yo, let's go.
Because I feel like Diablo 4, it misses that last fifth of the game. Like 1 to 20 is great, 20 to 40 is great. 40 to 60 is great. 60 to 80 is like mostly great. And then 80 to 100 is like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Why am I doing this? I'm farming all of this gear. I'm getting all of these Paragon levels for what? To kill Uber Lilith and get nothing? Who cares? Right? There's no point to it. I'm not motivated to continue doing it. So, like, I feel...
And then imagine just dying to a bug. Then just imagine dying to a bug, doing all that shit, and your character just dies to a bug.
feel like I just run out of motivation to continue doing this, right? It seems for nothing. Yes, it's just for nothing. Yes, maybe I'll get them out. Maybe I'll kill Uber Lilith at some point. But my motivation for it is very, very minimal. Somebody brings up in chat, Race to 100, hardcore super fun to watch, but seeing all the illegitimate deaths was a letdown. Blizzard is fixing that. You know, everybody said I was wrong.
Wait, was that guy out of touch and on crack? Was the Race to 100 actually super fun to watch, or was it like fucking like you want to blow your brains out watching it? I don't see how it'd be fun to watch. Like a 4-man group just do the same dungeon over and 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 over. I mean, I don't know. Like, so I tell that guy's that's just a dog shit comment that was sent in, and you know, hey.
Along with this, apparently Blizzard disagrees. So I think that's great to see. Blizzard is changing that.
Let me turn my sound down.
On top of that, another thing that's happening is they're adding in like little bonus things into the game, right? Like the gem tab. I do not understand how adding a gem tab into this game. I don't understand how this takes until season 2. And I really hope that Blizzard realizes that not everybody in the world lives inside of Blizzard time dilation, where like changing the spelling on something takes 10 months. So if the game is bad, people are just going to move away from the game, and a lot of times they're not going to come back and play it whenever it's good again.
True.
And this is what happened with Shadowlands. Is that Shadowlands was bad for so long because Blizzard refused to listen to what the player base said. And then by the time that it was improved at the end of the game, well, nobody cared anymore. And Diablo 3 was the same thing, yes. So I don't think that Blizzard can rely on people just waiting around for the game to get better. They need to be making these changes proactively, immediately. New World is another great example of this. Immediately. Like, I don't want to wait until Season 7 for the game to be good. This is ridiculous, because by the time Season 7 comes out, people are going to lost interest in the game. I think that's another big issue. A lot of these changes have come, they've been too slow, basically. So just in general, the cadence of changes has been both very fast and too slow.
Do you think the game just should have waited another fucking half year to a year to come out? Do you think? I feel like there was, you know, just not enough content. There's just not enough content in the in-game. Like they're just missing like a good half year to year of development in terms of actual content. That's it feels barren. It feels barren, which just seems like a massive mistake, right?
Some of the things like making adjustments to different abilities, nerfing things. I play a Whirlwind Barbarian. I'd say like 80% of the nerfs were definitely warranted. Like it just was insane. It's an insane class. So I definitely understand why they nerfed it. But, you know, like making the classes playable, I think is another issue. Because whenever I leveled, and this is mainly experience from the beta, I haven't really played the live game, but as far as I know, a lot of that hasn't really changed ever since the second beta and the server slam, is that the experience playing the game and the experience leveling 1 to 50 as a barbarian and a druid is decidedly worse than the other classes. And it's worse for no reason. Because inside of all of your skills and
from a druid POV, I didn't struggle at all when I played on World Tier 2. It seemed easy. It felt literally it felt easy. I didn't die twice. I died to a bug, and then I literally, like a P-level character that had shit gear. I was being greedy on a higher World Tier, and I changed my volume, and I died. It was like a non-death. I literally haven't died in this game. There's been no actual legitimate death in this game for me. And that was, we're not even talking about that. We're talking about leveling. Speaking as a druid, leveling, I leveled on the hardest difficulty, and it was easy and fairly trivial. That's what I'm saying, right? Now, of course, if I compare my experience to other people, they were probably leveling far faster than me, and it was probably easier, relatively speaking. But I wouldn't say it was a bad experience. If anything, you know, I wanted the game to be more difficult. I wanted there to be, you know, more difficulty. I think even at World Tier 2, it's far too easy, right?
And your talents and everything like this. There are coefficients that increase these numbers based off of the level that you are and based off of different secondary stats. And I think Blizzard would be doing themselves a really big favor if they just made barbarians and druids more fun to level. I think this is like an easy W, and it's just not a fun experience. I think that also this problem is like, it's like multiplied because in Act 1, a lot of the fights in Act 1 are melee unfriendly, right? Where you're fighting like the girl's mom, and there's like the succubus mobs running away from you constantly.
Yeah.
And
those succubus mobs are cunty, but yeah, okay. Wait, I'm trying to think. What was unfun though? What does he mean by unfun? Because it wasn't. Did just Bob like really struggle? As a druid, I don't see how it's unfun. But is the unfun part is he talking about difficulty, or is he talking just about? I mean, don't get me wrong. Those succubus mobs are cunty as fuck, and they are annoying. But you engage them like a couple times. Well, no, more than a couple times. But that one fight. That one fucking, you know, that one warband place where there's like fucking 4 of them and they all have high HP. Ugh, low damage. Okay, maybe Barber's worse than druid. Then I don't know.
Then the fucking Chosen of Lilith is standing inside of the poison cloud it dropped, and you just have to attack it. It doesn't feel good to play melee, and or to play a barbarian and to play a druid in early game. And I don't really see that being a positive. I don't think that it's a good thing that one class is just bad, or it's less fun to play, or something like that. I don't see any advantage to that, and I think that it's a universal negative. So they should make those two classes more fun to play at early levels. I think that also, like, the builder-spender meta that, like, a lot of classes have is kind of boring. And I think that it's, like, it doesn't feel good. And I would ask this to anybody in the chat, right? Does it feel good to use your basic abilities? No. So why do they...
Depends on what... I mean, I'm spamming a basic ability right now in my computer game. right? Okay, that's right. That's my basic ability. You know, and I'm just absolutely shredding everything with my basic ability. But no, certainly when I played a Bob, my basic ability. No, and you know what? When I played a Druid, it's still when I was playing Pulverize and I was generating, it was like the Pulverize did something like 40 times the amount of damage the generator did, which is just like that's stupid. That is stupid, right? It's not impactful. It doesn't feel like, you know, it was basically like you do no damage, and then you do damage when you press it. And, you know, that's kind of like how Red Paladins are in World of Warcraft, which I'm not a big fan of, right? When your generators do absolutely no damage, and the only thing that does damage is your spender, which is like, ugh. But, yeah, no, I've been build dependent, right? Build dependent.
They exist. Yeah, it's just stupid. I also think that with Barbarians specifically, and this is like more class design type stuff, to slow your game, but they don't, because whenever you're at max endgame, you never use them. Like, I basically never use this ability. Like, I'll use it every once in a while, but for the most part, I'm using Whirlwind. I could take Lunging Strike off my bar, and my gameplay would not change that much. So I think that the basic abilities and the necessity to use a basic ability that feels bad for, like, the majority of the game is pointless, and it's not fun. I don't see the reason why they can't tone down the cost of abilities earlier on in the game, because it would just make the classes more fun to play. Like, that's really all.
I think they don't. I don't think it's that's a basic. It's just like, you know. I guess maybe he want. I think if anything, they just make a few more builds that don't require basic abilities. I mean, because like what Druid has. I mean, I played Staff of the Chrome, which is it's no spender, basic only, and I played I'm playing the Barbark, which is no spender, basic ability only, and then I played the Tornado Dread, which was only spender, no basic ability. Like, I don't know, the majority of builds I've played have not had the thing. Now, the Pulverized Druid, honestly, you play with the basic ability, once you get the it doesn't feel that bad. Like, I feel like they should not just totally delete all basic abilities, right? You know, if anything, they should give players more options to use spender-only builds, I guess. Rokan too, yeah. That's what you're saying? Well, no, it's saying spender. It's one of those things where, like, no, but the thing is, Pulverized Druid feels good with the basic ability because you have every time you attack, there's a high likelihood you're going to proc something that's going to give all your shit back, and then it's going to give you 100% crit, and then when you press your spender, it's like goes big dick. And generally speaking, generating a buff that makes you do more damage. So it's like, I don't know, that Pulverized Druid feels good once you have the uniques that allow you to use Earth attacks in bear form, that is.
All it comes.
If you actually use Maul, it's the worst gameplay in the game. If you're using Maul, yeah, that's trash.
Down to. So imagine waiting until Season 2 to fix a bug. Yeah, and so other things, like Blizzard has been very receptive in a lot of ways. Like, they've been listening to, like, the gym tab, for example, they're going to be adding. But, again, it's going to be taking until Season 2, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Like, this is outrageous that you can't make this change in the middle of a season? What the fuck are you talking about? This is an always online game. You can force a patch to everybody. What do you mean you can't change the game inside of a season? It's ridiculous. Let's talk about, I guess.
It's what do you call it? It's a big company, right? They have like a bunch of people it has to go through. It's just bureaucracy, right? And it's to do with like making sure it's to do with like making sure they don't fuck everything up, right? It's to mitigate risk. It's risk mitigation. Whereas a smaller company is more likely to act a lot faster, but then also more likely to fuck something up and add in some bug that fucks and starts crashing the game, right?
It's like the dungeon farming.
It's shit, though. No, this is a bad part of a big company. I'm saying it's not. I prefer the mid-range company, right? I prefer, like, I think the best company is something that they've got enough money where they have, like, some weight to throw around in terms of, like, development and resources, but then they don't have the slow down effect of this giant fucking behemoth that has like 5 filters you have to get through just to put like a small patch in the game to add some titties into the game, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Meta. I think that Blizzard should just immediately add the reset dungeon button back into the game. We had this in the beta, and Blizzard decided that it was a bad idea, so they removed it. I think the removal of the dungeon reset button has only made the game worse, and people are still using dungeon resets.
Yeah.
They're just doing it in a contrived way. They're doing a workaround for it, and that workaround
and it's an exploit for it. Yeah.
Hurts solo players and it hurts people that don't want to try and get into a group just to like metagame out some sort of like restriction that Blizzard decides.
It's an exploit of game mechanics to spam reset a dungeon. Yes, no, definitionally it's an exploit. I mean, dude, you can exploit anything. I can exploit like a certain damage type to do some bullshit. It's not like, don't get me wrong, I don't think they're ever going to ban for it. I think it's totally fine. I'm not saying it's some unethical exploit. I'm saying it's just an exploit of game mechanics, right? Like when you reset group, it just fucking resets the dungeon, and then it just resets the dungeon. So you're just exploiting the game mechanic that allows you to reset the dungeon, which you cannot do solo. You just cannot do it solo. You can bounce around dungeons in solo, but you cannot just sit there spam resetting, right?
Decided. Like, I don't want to do that. It's annoying to me. But it is the best way to level, and if you want to level quickly, that's what you have to do.
Fuck that.
So Blizzard has taken something that was a quality of life feature and removed it from the game, and then in replacement of that, they've added something that's not fun. So I think it's a really big mistake for them to not have the what do you call it? The reset instance button. There's
is that really the play though?
For that not to.
Wait, is that really the play though? I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I don't know. I feel like you just. I mean, they could if the. You should just design the game in a way that doesn't incentivize spamming the same dungeon, right? Like that's, just re-optimize reward so that people don't want to do that, because that's just not. It's an unfun outcome, right? It's an unfun outcome. Like they just giving the ability. I don't want that to be this way to level, because if they do add a reset dungeon and now the best way for me to level solo is just spam the same dungeon, that's just awful. Like I'd rather that they, just buff the shit out of nightmare sigils to the point where no one wants to do that anymore. Right? Like, I still don't want the reset button
to happen. Oh, you can't. You reset the instance while you're inside of it. That's bad. Well, yeah, I think it is bad, but like, isn't having to sit into a group and then change instance over and over and over inside of a loading screen worse? I think it's way worse. So I don't want to see Blizzard go down the route of making the entire game worse in order to throttle the 0.1% of power gamers. You should let them do what they want to do, and then let everybody else enjoy the game.
They're only doing that because the reward's there. You just shift the reward and it's fine, and you don't have to fuck anyone over. Everyone wins, right? You just shift the where people get the reward. That's it. You just move it. You move the goalpost, so to speak. Right? I don't know.
Without a bunch of unnecessary restrictions to try to stop those people from playing it more efficiently. Now, obviously, there's going to be exceptions to that, but that's generally the way that I fall off on. And I think that overall, would I be having more fun if the game had a reset dungeon button? The answer to that is a pretty simple fucking yes. How many of you guys join a dungeon in Diablo 4 and you think, oh, great, what stupid bullshit am I going to have to do this time? Because that's the way I feel. Yep. Am I going to have to kill all the mobs and, like, there's one little fucking goblin that's sitting over in the corner, and because it was kind of close, but he's in another room, you have to, like, run around and get him, and you didn't actually have him get pulled to you at the end. You've got to rescue 7 villagers, and it's a spider area, so you're getting the little spiders attacking you constantly. It's like they're very annoying, and I'd like to have more dungeons that were just focused on killing mobs, rather than
wait. Is this an argument for the reset dungeon, or is this an argument just against events now? Because it sounded like he was making an argument for, like, that's why we want reset dungeons, so I can just run the same dungeon over and over again, so that way I can just kill mobs. But I think he's just talking about events in general being shit. I think it was a combination, right? Well, I hard disagree. I think adding reset dungeons is just dog shit. I feel like they just need to change the goalposts. Now the events, to be honest, more events that just kill things are better, I think, when it comes to, like, farming. I think, but then the occasional one that's different, I think is fun. I mean, I don't know. Like, do you guys I don't get pissed off by that. I don't get pissed off by that. Do you guys get pissed off at the fucking? I think some of them are cunty. The ones that I don't like are the ones that I don't like are this, where it's like you're fucking in a dungeon and then you have to, like, click like 10 different things, and then you realize that you have to click these things, and you're halfway through the dungeon, and now you have to backtrack to go back because you missed to clicking on this fucking thing. So then you're just backtracking to this thing to click it. Then click another thing. Those ones there. But as long as you can't, like, as long as they make them, like, yeah. For this, I think there's a couple that when you have many objectives and they're hard to see. I mean, yeah, that is annoying. I will agree with that. But not because I want to run the same dungeon over and over and over again. Just to be clear here.
Menial tasks over and over and over. They're obnoxious. Also hitting dead ends or missing something and then having to run back and get it again.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for just like pure fucking all gas, no brakes, greater rifts. I don't mean that. But like at least make the things that you have to do not as fucking annoying. Also, doing the, like, these are going to be like little things. Like I don't really have this structured very well in my head, so I'm going to be kind of jumping around a little bit. But like inside of the dungeons, the events inside of the dungeons are fucking garbage. Every single like wave that you do after wave 5 should have more and more elites. Like more and more and more and more until you either die or the timer runs out. Because that would be really cool. Like I don't want to do like I'm on wave 9 and 3 succubus spawn. One's here, one's here, one's here, and then there's also a fucking demon that spawns over here. And you kill them, and then it's like, okay, now there's 4 succubus. Oh. Okay. Thank God. So, like, you need to have a way to complete the activities faster. Because having to sit there for an entire minute whenever you're just re-killing non-elites over and over, how many of you guys just skip the events? Because I skip the events every single time. Unless, like, I'm just really bored or I just, like, want to do something new. Let's look at some of the affixes.
I skip some of them, but then ones that had good density, I stay at. Yeah. Which is, I guess he's right in the respect that it certainly is better the more shit's there. Because that's when I stay at the ones that have good density and I just leave the ones that aren't good density. And that's literally just an efficiency thing, right?
Let's talk about suppressor. Suppressor sucks. Why is it that my whirlwind snapshots my location? Like, if I go inside of the suppressor, I should not have to recap.
So suppressor doesn't suck. That's fucking whirlwinds. It sucks. Like, that's a fucking oversight in the design of whirlwind, right? That's
whirlwind. And if it's teleporting away, like, you know those mobs that the second that you engage them, they immediately teleport away? That's insanely...
It's not the same thing, because I fight suppressor and I don't think it's bad at all. As a druid, I'm like, oh, suppressor, I'm gonna go kill it. And I walk over and I kill it. Like, it's literally, it's not a suppressor thing. It's the same thing. No, it's whirlwind's fucking dog shit. They need to fix whirlwind's coding, bro. It shouldn't snapshot. It should be dynamic, right? Whirlwind you should be in melee range. If you're in melee range, it shouldn't be like, oh, you're technically at range because you started casting whirlwind over there. No, dude, that's stupid.
Fucking annoying. Whenever the main glyph that everybody uses automatically applies vulnerability as soon as you hit them. The exploit glyph, where the fuck is it? I think it's right here, right? Yeah. Marshall exploit. Yeah, this one here. So, like, it's designed in a way to be as annoying as possible. Why the fuck would anybody want to do that? And especially if it's one of the vampire guys. Because not only do they turn into a bat and then move away, but they also teleport away with their abilities. So you're dealing with that shit as well. And I also want to emphasize, as I go through all these things in the game, I would recommend buying Diablo 4, and I do think that it's a good game. I think it is an extremely solid, good game.
True.
But god fucking damn, it could be a lot better. It could be a whole lot better. I mean, the reason why I say that is because I think the level 1 to 70, I mean, I think most people could agree with this, right? Levels 1 to 70 is a good experience, where, like, you get more and more powerful and stronger and it feels better. Like, I think so. At 1 to 50, sure, 1 to 50. And just 1 to 50 is a good amount of time playing the game. The problem with the end game in Diablo...
I think it peaks, like, it peaks as you kind of finish the campaign and you get to World Tier 4 early and you start getting all ancestral items, and then, you know, you start, like, meshing your build a little bit. And then you get the new, you know, the new uniques, and then it's like you get to this point where your build's kind of done, and then you've got nothing to do, and then you're like, fuck, well, I guess I'll level to 100, and then it begins this fucking mindless grind, which is like what I'm doing right now, where I'm just watching a YouTube video instead of actually like paying attention to the game I'm playing, because it's like, holy fuck, man, you know, like, holy fuck, man.
Well, it's very simple. There is nothing for you.
Which means that peaks probably. I would say probably 1 to like. So my thing would probably be like 1 to 65 is good, and then beyond 65 to 70, like maybe 70. You can say 1 to 70. You can say 1 to 70.
Achieve past level 80, except for more Paragon levels and maybe getting the exact same piece of gear that you already have where it says a 13 instead of a 12. Is this really a good time? Is this really fun? I don't think so. So what they need to do is they need to add a tier 5. They need to add a world tier 5 and then have different items drop there that have more than four affixes. Because I think that only 4 affixes on gear is kind of boring. I think gear in general is kind of boring. I think the best example of that is the weapon ability pool. So like core skill damage, damage over time.
World tier 5. I mean, because we already have GIs that scale up, right? Because it's maybe he's saying he wants item power to continue scaling beyond 820, right? I don't know. Why does World tier 5 fix things? I don't understand why. Because the mobs scale up with you anyway. Scaling's lame. Yeah, I'm not wrong. I think scaling's trash. I think itemization's trash. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that are trash with this game. But I don't see how World tier 5 fixes anything. I guess it's just another level of progression. But then it's kind of artificial because you're just kind of obsoleting all the stuff in World tier 4, and people are just going to zerg to World tier 5 instead of zerging to World tier 4. Because right now it's like get to World tier 4 as soon as possible. Get to all the then you get to that final grind of like, oh, I'm getting my ancestral gear, and then that's it. And then after that, it's like, okay. But now all that's going to happen is you're just going to obsolete ancestral, and you're going to replace it with World tier 5, which is just going to have the next thing, which is like, I don't know, primal, right? So it's primal, and then it's going to be the same exact thing, except just with 1 extra affix on your gear. I don't know. I just feel like it's lack of in-game content. If there was in-game content and there was ways of, and then itemization was more interesting, you could farm more specific things for specific builds. I think it's just a lack of in-game content and then just shit itemization, right? Because there's not really that much build diversity because of the fact that the builds are so shoehorned by the developers. So then, it's not like you can farm out super unique gear. It's like, okay, it's very obvious what the best in slot is, and it's very obvious what the legendary powers you use. I don't know. I don't think World tier 5 will fix it. I'm going to be honest. I don't see that. That's like, you understand? I'm coming from a D3 perspective of like, people go crazy. Like, oh my God, did you see they're adding a torment 7, 8, 9, and 10, bro? Holy, it's so crazy. It's like twice as much content. Well, no, it just shifts. You just shifts like, okay, instead of farming T6, you farm T10 now, and then everything, you just get more loot and XP. It's the same thing. It's just like, it's like what,
Time, damage to injured enemies, damage to healthy enemies, damage to bleeding enemies, damage to basic skills, damage over time. Like, all of these things are just different percentages that don't fucking matter, that don't change your gameplay in any sort of a meaningful way. It's just percentages that make the number go up. They don't feel better. Like, for example, if you compare it to, like, patch 5.4 in Mists of Pandaria, your character plays massively fucking different because you have more haste, more crit chance, and more crit damage. And more mastery, so you can proc more things. So I don't really feel like my character is becoming, like, it's not really coming online, and I'm not getting these cool abilities whenever I'm leveling up. I'm just getting more percentages. And if you compare this to Diablo 3, at the beginning of the game, where attack speed scaled your crit damage, and your crit damage scaled with your crit strike, and then all of these scaled with your main stat, the game felt a lot more complete in that way, and you could actually feel your character getting stronger.
What I'm hearing is he needs to roll a druid, bro. Druid literally, like, all the stuff that the Chrome builds feels so amazing as you get attack speed, critical strike chance, and lucky hit chance. It starts to get more and more crazy and cracked the higher you get. Like, once you start getting perfectly rolled attack speed crit, lucky hit chance gloves with like attack speed crit. Once you get crit lucky hit rings, and your guy starts going crazy with procs. It starts popping off. But yeah, no, all those other affixes are the same exact ones that I've been crying about because I think they're complete. I hate anything that is just like it's just damage to when X, damage when Y, damage when whatever. It's just shit. Like why are we working with these stats? And don't even get started the attributes as well. Like, why are the attributes so fucking boring and shit? Like, they're literally, like, I feel like attribute bonuses need to be completely redesigned.
And the way your character played was better. So that's one big factor. I think that it just doesn't really feel any different. The mount system. So let's talk about the mount system. We're going to go outside. We're going to look at it. Let's say I want to go over here. It works, right? Sometimes it works. Let's say I want to go over to here.
Ah?
Why not?
Because it's shitty. Otherwise, I hate long pathing like that as trash.
Is this a joke? Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I fucking hate that. What the fuck? No, that's bad. No, don't advocate for that kind of pathing. That you lose control of your character. No, the shitty part is where it gets stuck on like nothing, and the shitty part is the weird acceleration deceleration thing. We don't want like advanced pathing because that causes an issue where you're fighting a monster and you try to run down. Like I'll show you. Like so, you're fighting a monster, right? You're fighting some fucking guy here, and he does like a big one-shot attack or something, right? And You go to move against this cliff, right? To dodge the attack that's going to kill you, right? And then as you click to this cliff, it actually paths to somewhere up there, and your character goes, wah! And runs right into the telegraph, dead, right? Because that happened to me in Lost Ark all the time, and I fucking hated it, dude. And I would go, the pathing! Every two, I hate that. It should just hit the fucking wall, and then it should stop at the wall. It shouldn't try path around, dude. I fucking hate that Lost Ark pathing, bro. Don't even get me started on that, bro. The part that I find shitty for mounts is just the fact that it gets caught on stupid little fucking things every 2 seconds, and the fact that you can't get over those little gaps where you're supposed to be able to jump over them, but your mount just doesn't do it. And then the thing where your fucking mount is running at like 1 mile per hour because your fucking mouse is like too close to your character, even though you're trying to drag it away. It's like just walking for some reason instead of actually fucking running. It doesn't make any sense.
Look at the pathing. This is horrible. Why is the pathing so bad on the mount? It doesn't go around?
I don't want to go around. I don't want that to go around. I don't
What
want
the
that.
fuck is this? Lost Ark does it better.
Lost Ark is trash. No, bro,
Korean pay-to-win game
does
this better.
Dude, I can't disagree more.
And by the way, it does it a lot better.
No, it's shit. They can do that, bro. They've got RTS games. It's not hard for it to make a path and go around, but it feels bad. It feels bad. It feels bad. It feels terrible. It feels awful. I hate that feeling of you try and move somewhere and then your guy, like you click to the left, but actually, do you know that part that you click that's technically in this other zone? And to get to that other zone, it has to like run up and around and do all this other shit. Then your character runs in a direction that you didn't input. You input run left, and then instead your guy fucking does like a 360 and a backflip. And it's like, I wanted it to run fucking left. No, it's bro, fuck that. Fuck that. Dude, I hate intelligent pathing. I hate that. Don't get me wrong, you can have like little bits, right? Like a small amount of intelligent pathing. Like for example, like this. Wait, where am I? You can see my guy. For example, like this is fine. Like your guy moves around the thing just a tiny bit, right? Like it's very small amount. But anything beyond that, nah, fuck that. Like if you click left and it goes right, there's a problem, in my opinion. Like if there's like a wall here, right? Let's say there's a big wall going like 180 degrees here. That's half the shit, right? You draw like a semicircle. If you click left and it doesn't just stop at the wall and it actually goes that's dog shit. I hate that. That's trash. That's trash. I hate that. Okay, so that's like, I mean, that's obviously subjective. Now maybe some people like the one where you press the button and it fucking runs around. But I personally, as an ARPG Andy, I fucking hate that. That's like, I mean, anyone who watched me play Lost Ark heard me incessantly complain about the pathing. Now it's funny because he's complaining about the pathing he's doing the literal reverse, which is like, I mean, maybe they tested with people and they said, and then how do they decide? Perhaps it could be an option where you can click like RTS pathing enabled, right? Like auto pathing. They could have there couldn't be an option that just says auto pathing. And then I would just disable that. I feel like that's the only way that you could. I would be okay with let the people who want auto pathing have auto pathing, or you can maybe have auto pathing for horse and maybe have a separate one. I don't know.
Not even remotely close. Also, why is the mount on cooldown? Like if I get off the mount and I want to click on something, why is it a 6-second cooldown? Why is it not like a 2 or 3 second cooldown? I think that being able to make your mount run faster is really cool. I like that. I think that's a really cool thing in the game. I'm a very big advocate of that. I think it's really cool that they added that. And like the open world events like this, I think are fucking amazing too. I really, really like them. where you can see people out in the world doing stuff, fighting other mobs. I think that is so cool. And I also think that the mount customization is pretty cool too. I wish you were able to zoom in a little bit more, but for the most part, I'm very happy with the way the game is in that regard. In terms of like the open world and the graphics of the game, I think that they're all really, really nice. And I think that, again, the real problems in this game, they manifest themselves towards the very end of the game. Like at the beginning of the game, most of these problems you don't have to deal with. Like they're not really a big issue.
I feel like itemization, character progression, a lot of these things are just they're baked in with the game though. It's I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. I feel like a lot of them are fundamental problems that they really need to just look look at the skill tree and be like, you know what, we should actually remake this. You know, look at the way that items are done and just. I'm not just hating. No, don't wrong. I can look past that because ultimately I know one thing. What makes you play a game ultimately comes down to like content. If there's something to do in the game, the reason I'm not playing PvE right now is because there's no new content in the game that I'm like, man, I really want to do. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if they have like some shit systems. If there's some new fucking badass looking content that I haven't done yet, I want to go fuck with that. If there's some new in-game, I want to go fuck with that. That's the reality here.
Or anything.
Guys, Ubers are like some fucking autistic extra aspirational shit where ultimately, Chad, I've technically have killed 7 out of 7 Ubers. I've made characters that are capable of doing it. They've just died to bugs. Let's be honest
like
here.
That. Also, sellers, it would be nice if sellers were a little bit more worthwhile. Personally, I don't think that there's ever a reason to go and do a seller. Like people say that you can get a bunch of treasure goblins or something like that. Maybe you can. But overall, it doesn't really make that much sense. Anyway, I guess you can talk about, like, I think a lot of people that play the game know what I'm talking about with this. Like, the different barricades that the game puts up. There is never a time that you want to get off your mount whenever you're riding to a dungeon to destroy a barricade, to kill 2 skeleton archers that are standing behind the barricade, doing 1/100th of your health every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's fucking annoying. Now,
I think in special event zones, they should happen, right? Like, I feel like barricades and health tides make sense, right? Like, if it's a zone where it's supposed to be difficult and it's supposed to be gameplay and you're supposed to be there fighting, that's one thing. If it's like you just, you know, if it's just some place you're commuting between, I don't know. It doesn't make sense, especially when you're just going to ignore it. No, it makes sense. Barricades do make sense. It's a way of forcing you into a different type of gameplay, right? It's like okay, you have to dismount here, you have to do something. You're stuck, right? And then mobs could ambush you from the side. 100%. That's literally like it's like an ambush, dude. That's cool. Now, if it's happening frequently and often, I think it's shit. And I feel like honestly, if it's going to be through areas that you're going to be just commuting through all the time, that's like, I don't know. Whereas if it's like a Helltide area, I feel like that's a gameplay mechanic. 100%. No, 100%. If you do barricades properly, they're cool and interesting and unique.
I technically did kill the Ubers. I have a character that's ready to go.
Now, I don't think that they should remove the barricades. I actually don't think so. But I think that whenever your horse is in the gallop motion like this, the horse should be able to break through the barricades. That way you create the world of, like, you know, you can see different things happening in the world and, you know, like your character has an impact of what's happening, or spacebar to pass it. Well, spacebar does that, right? And so you can push through it and break down the barricades if your horse is in gallop mode. I would like that a lot. I would think that was very cool. But yeah, that's kind of my feedback on mounts.
Yo, different horse types, bro. You get like a horse type that's like faster and can jump and do shit. You get like a horse that's got like a fucking charge ability that can like break down like barricades and break through mobs and shit. Oh shit, you get different mounts that do different horse types, dude. Think about that shit. That'd be badass.
Overall, I think that mounts are probably added into the game primarily to give players something else to spend money on, and that's it. Oh, and then I got knocked off my mount there due to this thing, and now I can't get back on the mount for 15 more seconds.
Classic.
Very, very cool. And so I just have to walk now. Overall, I think that Diablo 4 is I think it's a very good game, but I think also if you play it enough, you will learn to dislike it. And I think that it doesn't really reward players that play it a lot. Like, for example, if you play the game, you know, like 50 hours, I think that you're going to probably have a really good experience playing the game. But if you... Oh, here, like this. Okay, this... Actually, to be fair, that one was pretty good. But many of them are not. If you played the game, you'd know that. 15 hours. Yeah, we're in Season 0. Well, that's why I'm giving feedback now. I'm talking about the game now in Season 0, so they can't... So that, then they can't be like, oh, well, we didn't know. We didn't know. Nah, people are talking about it even now. Because Diablo's a very popular game, right? I mean, this game is the fastest selling PC game in history. So...
Wait, Blizzard game in history, right? Wait, what? Wait, am I crazy? Wait, what? Blizzard game, right? Blizzard? I think you've just forgot to qualify that with Blizzard. I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure, like, fucking... no, ever. Wait, is it actually ever? No shot. No shot, brother. Wait, really? Ads? People saying ads? Yeah, what about, like, GTA or, like, one of those COD games or some shit? Like, what about fucking Valorant? What just about Valorant? Wait, is that free? I don't even know, to be honest. I feel like there's, like, other games. No shot. I feel like this is pretty fucking niche. Pretty sure this fucking... this kind of fucking niche as fuck. Isn't this giga niche? I mean, I know it's the fastest selling Blizzard game of all time, right? But then I don't know if that's even scale for inflation and stuff. I'm not even sure if that's... I don't even know if it even scale for inflation, if it even beats T3. Like, it's obviously, like, you know, there's a different... Money meant different things. I don't know. They scale. I don't know how they scale that shit. Dude, this game is niche, chat. This game is fucking niche. Okay, stop. It's don't get me wrong. It's like the most homogenized, like largest reaching ARPG, right? But still, ultimately, it is some sort of ARPG. Bro, MMOs are fucking niche, brother. Fucking World of Warcraft is niche. What are you on about? It's fucking niche, bro. Shit is fucking niche. Yeah, dude, MMOs are like... What are you on about? Oh my god, you guys are living in a delusional. You're living in a fucking echo chamber, chat. ARPGs are niche. MMOs are niche. I mean, the mainstream games right now are FPS games and MOBA games. Those are the mainstream ones, in my opinion. I would not say anything else. I would say straight up, maybe, I don't know, maybe like the sandboxy Minecraft or Robloxy type games. Actually, I don't know. What do you even call those? Like sandbox games? Maybe that's a mainstream as well. Maybe you get those ones. Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of people want this game to be good, and I think that Blizzard owes it to its community to listen to the feedback from players, listen to what people have to say, and improve the game. Like this thing where, like, your cursor, if your cursor is closer to the horse, it doesn't move. Like, just stupid shit like this. Why?
Yeah, that's a good complaint. I can't believe he's mentioning this now, and he went on about the pathing thing, which is, in my opinion, like literally he's talking about making pathing worse. That's cursor thing is complete dog shit.
Why is it like this? What's the point of it? Overall,
it's consoles,
I think
bro.
that
Consoles.
Just stop making things in the game annoying. I think that's probably the main the main complaint that I have. Is that there are certain things in the game that add challenge, but they do it in a way that's not fun. So, like, while yes, technically this does make the game harder, it makes the game harder in a way that's not enjoyable to overcome. And to an extent, this is going to be a personal opinion. So, like, some people might not view it this way, but I do.
I must wait.
I think it's annoying. True that post 80 addicts pay the most. When it come close to 1%, I pay 90% of players. Microsoft for professional people calculating these possibilities. Well, I'm not sure.
What's like that? You know what it's like? It's like if you make a boss harder by saying, "Oh, there's like a 10% chance in the last phase every like 15 seconds that he just does this thing that's like an AoE ride screen that like one shot you and you just die and you can't avoid it, right?" That's like one way of making the boss harder versus like making the boss harder by, "Oh yeah, he has this telegraph one shot attack that it's difficult to avoid, but if you're good, you can avoid it," right? That's like a way of making it difficult but then still fun, like Melania, right, in Elden Ring, for example, versus like that fucking dog shit boss in Harry Potter. Okay, they made the dog shit boss in Harry Potter hard at the very end by just making it fucking kill you with his untelegraphed attack. That's just annoying and and fucking makes me want to rage, and it makes me hate that game. Well, guess what? Killing Millennia, extremely difficult boss. I wiped on it for way longer. Killed her ass. Super satisfying boss to progress through. Super satisfying boss to kill, right? And that's like making it extremely difficult, but also fun, which is true. But, I mean, if your definition of fun is to make pathing on mounts complete dogshit ass, then I disagree hardcore, right? So, my definition of fun is going to be different to someone else's definition of fun, right? Like, shit.
Overall, I just want to see, this is what I want to see happen. I want to see them add a tier 5 for level 80 plus players that has, new uniques, higher drop chances for the rare uniques, like Shaco and Grandfather, and there's a few other ones. I'd like to see that happen. I don't think that it is great game design. Yeah, like this.
You found one.
It's just fucking annoying. It's just fucking annoying. And that's it. But I think that the outdoor content like this is actually great. I like it.
It's designed to get you off your mount. That's the point of it, right? It's designed to change your gameplay, right? That's what it's designed to. It's just like, if it's just doing that, but it's completely trivial and easy, and it's not like a typical encounter, and it's not rewarding, well, then that's shit. That's shit. Well, imagine if this barricade, actually when the barricade does that, then bang, a bunch of mobs spawn from each side, and they fucking, and they have a very high chance of killing you because they're dangerous, and also the mobs are very rewarding, and they are far more rewarding than something like in a dungeon, but obviously you can't, it's just random, right? And you can't farm them, whatever. That's now a cool thing that just happened. It was interesting, dynamic, and forced you to change your gameplay up, and now you just got a bunch of density, a bunch of monsters, and you got a bunch of loot and XP. Right? No, but they don't do that, so it's annoying, right? It's just there's 2 mobs, and now you can't get you can make it fun. The intended mechanic is there. I feel like removing barricades entirely would just be a L fucking from Blizzard. Making barricades more interesting and compelling and fun, that's a whole nother thing altogether.
I want to see them add more stuff like this. Yeah, this kind of stuff is really good. And just giving people a reason to go out into the world is a major positive and a huge W in my opinion. Yeah, I even made a list. I don't know if I can find the list right now of all the things that I like to see happen with Diablo 4. But overall, I think that Blizzard has a great foundation for this game. But in order for the game to really be good and get people to continue coming back for season after season, I think they really have to look at some of the fundamental mechanics and rethink the way they work. Just affixes that are fucking annoying. The ones that you have to run and stand underneath the electricity thing or it one-shots you.
Just tank it.
You've got 15 other fucking sound effects playing. Do you want to be staring at your mini-map to see if you can find this little thing? It's just fucking annoying.
It's tank it.
It's not like it's hard. It's just fucking annoying. I think that whenever the challenge...
Tell that to Woody Joe, bro. Tell that to Woody Joe. I thought that Woody Joe guy was good. Yeah, he got that mechanic that's not as hard. It literally killed him in a hardcore character. So, I don't know. I feel like that is a pretty difficult mechanic in that respect.
Challenge to something is just that it's a roadblock, and it's not like there's any sort of real gameplay to it other than overcoming the roadblock.
It killed me too, but because of a fucking bug. Okay, chat.
I don't think we really need the roadblock. Way too much backtracking in dungeons. Yeah, nobody ever wants to go back and do a dungeon that they've already cleared and run all the way through it again. It's just annoying. And so you add, basically you add friction for looking through your map because you don't have a mini map. And besides adding friction for looking through the map, you also punish people for not looking at the map.
It means overlay.
Are there any affixes you enjoy? I think the fiery affix is fine. The on-death mechanics are kind of annoying, but overall I think the fire affix is fine. Let's see. The meteors are fine. I think those are okay. I don't know. I'd have to think about the other ones, but that's really what comes to my mind. The volcano.
What? Everyone's the ones that, okay, in my opinion, the ones that are noticeable, the ones that shift. As you're saying, the ones that basically you don't interact with are fine. Because it's I feel like some of the best, most compelling, most scary mechanics. For example, all the undeath effects. The one that lights up a guy purple. I think that's one of the best design mechanics because you have to stop whatever you're doing, fucking analyze what's happening, and you have to try to kill that guy, and I've almost died. That one has almost killed me the most times. That one has almost killed me the most times, and you have to find the guy, and you've got to kill him, right? I'm doing it right now on my screen. It's this guy. Like, I'm talking about these guys right here. These little purple motherfuckers right here. These guys here, you have to immediately track them down, find them, and kill them, right? Suppressor is like that as well. I think, like, and it's like it's funny because a lot of people want them to, like, engineer mechanics out of the game, which actually make them modify the gameplay. And then what they're saying is they just want to have a bunch of loot pinata mobs that do nothing and then just die, which is not at all what people want. It's just, like, not engaging gameplay. And then you're like, man, this game's too easy and boring. Bitch, quit. Right, which is, I feel like that's an issue, right? Because that's what people think they want in PoE, but they don't want it.
Volcano one, yeah, the volcano one is fine. I think a lot of them are okay. Also, poison. Anytime I do blind burrows, I'm just constantly poisoned for my entire health bar, spamming potions. Like, maybe this is something that's going to get fixed with them rebalancing resistances.
Bob's a dog shit,
but
bro.
for now, it's just obnoxious. Like, I never want to do that dungeon because of that. World bosses, I think, are good. I don't mind world bosses. I think it's a cool way for you to show off your gear if you've got really good gear. And also, it's just an easy way for you to get gear as well.
That's a fucking loot pinata. I think they're like exactly what I feared they would be from the second that I saw them. Like, immediately upon seeing the world boss, when the seconds within the announcement, I was like, that's just going to be a loot pinata. And there was like, at the 20 beta, it was like, oh wow, this isn't like loot pinatas. Like, okay, cool. And then, you know, initially in World Tier 1, it's like, wow, this is not a loot pinata. This is kind of cool. And then then anyway, we got to World Tier 4, and it's like, no, this is literally just a loot pinata. It was just, and you know, I've had the boss die in like sub 5 seconds pretty much most times. I mean, today I had probably the longest boss kill, which was like a 30-second kill maybe, or 20-second kill. But again, the boss did no damage and died, you know, before he could do half his mechanics. And it's just a loot pinata, and it's like, ugh, I don't know, dude. They don't even drop good loot. Yeah, well, they're worth it. If you haven't done the cache, it's worth it still. It's worth at least doing once a week, right? But, you know, it's, I don't know, I just feel like... But the boss design itself, like, do you know what? When the bosses don't fall over and they are fighting you and they are rippy, I mean, I saw a couple people die to them, right? You know, in hardcore. Like, it was crazy. I almost died myself. That's badass. Just the fact of the matter is the balancing is completely off. Like, way off. Giga off.
Yourself. Like, this kind of stuff is, like, really... Like, the fact that your mount runs at the speed that your mouse is farther away from the cursor, or the middle of the screen, I think is silly, too. I think they need to change that. They need to hit harder? No, they don't. It's a world boss. It's a loot pinata. World bosses are loot pinatas in every single game.
It's dog shit.
There's no glory to it. It's just a target dummy that people get to go and hit. I think annoying things are fundamentally good in games as they create stress and concentration and eventually relief when bypassed, which in reality dopamine, which increases addiction. So you think people get it, so you think the more annoying a game is, the more addicting it is?
Yes.
I don't think that makes any sense.
Well, there's a reason why Dark Souls games are so fucking good, right? I feel like there's a reason. You like something that's difficult and fucks your ass. I mean, look at why League of Legends is so good, right? Look at League of Legends, 100%. Yes. The games that fuck your ass big time, and then you eventually get better at and start overcoming. It's a great feeling. But then designing a system that's just like objectively, as long as there's a way to overcome it, it's good. If there's a way to engineer it out, it's good. No, or outplay it. 100%. Shut the fuck up.
I think that if you apply that logic in a large scale, then it would just be better to make a game more and more annoying, right? Because it would just make people more addicted.
Yeah.
I think that there is a big difference between something being annoying and something being challenging. Like, for example, there are a lot of games that aren't annoying and they're just challenging or hard. A lot of things in PoE are not really annoying, they're just really hard.
Bro, have you been in a fucking poison swamp in a fucking Dark Souls game? Have you played fucking I've done Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 and shit, and where they program a mob to, like, as you walk through, some guy comes from behind and fucks you in the ass and then knocks you off and you die, right? All that shit, that's like complete they try and design the most cancer annoying, but now there's a way to bypass it because you know that guy's coming from there, which is the whole point. If something's just annoying and always annoying and there's no way to bypass, that's one thing. But if something's annoying and you can bypass it by being good or outplaying or getting better, that's a whole other thing entirely, right?
Or hard to see. which you could say is annoying, but overall I don't really think they're that hard. It's a weird way to look at things that annoying gameplay is actually a good thing because it gets people to overcome it, and overcoming annoying gameplay releases dopamine. So like if that's the logic and the goal is to release dopamine, is the only way to release dopamine by making annoying content, or are there other ways to do it, like making challenging content that you feel good after?
He's just changing the definition of annoying. I think the definition that the guy was talking about in chat is difficult. Wait, who is it? I think, I'm sure Dr. K does a very good example of explaining. Watch out, there's a Dr. K video on exactly this topic, and it 100% is true and real and true when you hear him say it out loud. But no, he's just changed. Yeah, if something's just cunty and annoying and there's no way to outplay it and there's just nothing, then it's just cunty and annoying and no one's having a good time, right? For sure. But 100% games that are cunty and annoying, but you can overcome it by being better or coming up with strategies, and it's a clear outplay mechanic, then it's just like, you know, that's like playing a game of Dota or League of Legends or playing Dark Souls or any of these types of games which are designed to be like brutal and ass fuckery. It just feels amazing.
After you beat it. So you have some of these like outdoor world events. I personally find them pretty boring. How many of you guys go out and do these outdoor world events? Because to me, I only do them whenever Helltide is up. But yeah, I mean, the open world, as you can see, once you have really good gear, and like my gear isn't even like fully optimized. Like there's people that do way more damage than I do, and like nothing is really a challenge. You just go by and you just roll shit down, roll shit over, and it's super easy. Stuff like this, like, by the way, is like really cool. I like stuff like this where you can get like trapped and there's like skeletons that come in and attack you. Like that's actually kind of a cool, it's a cool type of annoyance because it's actually like you get to fucking blow up a bunch of mobs. Like that's why.
It's like if a barricade was designed correctly, right? Yeah.
It's cool. I completed all my renown. Yeah, I mean, overall, like, again, I'm very positive about this game, but I think that there's no point to play it after...
Yo, dude, yo, what the fuck? Yo, it's been a positive video so far. I feel like, I don't know. Dude, he has said a couple things that were, like, vegan. But no, I feel like he's overwhelmingly... But then again, maybe he's gonna switch it up right now.
Level 80. Like, I'm effectively just wasting my time right now. I go in, I do a dungeon. I know, like, I'm not even looking at the loot. Nothing that they drop is gonna be good. Like, I could loot it just for gold, maybe, so I could re-roll an item that I already had. But, like, do I really feel like doing that? Probably not. Those good uniques from 85 plus. Yeah, but like how many of those uniques has Rob gotten, for example? And he's been level 100 for like every single day ever since like the second day. He plays the game 24 hours a day. So like if he hasn't gotten these uniques, you're probably not going to get them either. So like just think about it from there.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
I'm surprised so many people get hoodwinked by that.
Yeah, bro, you don't even know. Even when the odds get called out, and even when they hear the reality, they still sit there and defend it like a bunch of moron, fucking clown, idiot, dude. It actually blows my fucking mind.
It's like as soon as you think about it, you realize like how rare that really is.
Bro, they said the lotto agency explained it the best. Humans cannot interpret these really small odds very well at all. They all think they're going to win when they're not going to win. They just cannot comprehend how unlikely it is to happen. And I think that'll be different for them when it's not. It's not. You're never going to get you're never getting these uniques yet. You're never looting. In the current state, you are never looting these rare uniques, ever. Not happening.
The fact that Rob hasn't gotten those is crazy. That's because the drop rates are garbage. And the reason why the drop rates being garbage is bad is because the drop rates in the game are... Like in PoE, it's okay for something like a mirror to exist because you can buy a mirror. The reason why it's not fun for things like that to exist in this game is because you can't buy them. You just have to, like, randomly roll the dice over and over and over until maybe you get lucky. And I find that to be, like, infinitely less...
It's rarer than mirrors. It's a rare. It's like a mirror but rarer, and you playing SSF. Literally, it's like imagine trying to like your goal is to farm a mirror and SSF, dude, and you can't use dip cards or anything. It just has to drop naturally. Okay, it just has to drop naturally as you're playing the game. And you know, you're gonna. How long are you gonna take? Like how many natty mirrors has like steel mage dropped in SSF? I don't know. Is it more than one? Is it even one? I'm not even sure. Like natty mirror 0? Yeah, there you go. It's fucking stupid.
That's fun.
And this is lower than mirror drop rate. It's like dropping. It's like you're trying to farm a mirror in SSF, and then also it's actually you have to find 3 instead of just 1.
Then going and actually working towards something over time. It's actually one of the reasons why I quit playing Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, is that I lost my ability to work towards a goal. Because I couldn't trade items. I couldn't do anything. So I just had to sit there and just constantly run rifts over and over and over. And hopefully, over time, I'll get something good. Just wants easy mode to go streamer? Well, if you listen to what I was saying, you'd know that I'm actually asking for a hard mode. I literally want a hard mode. I want a hard mode that drops better gear with more interesting affixes, and it does it more often.
I mean, there was. I mean, I don't know. I see what he's saying, right? He's talking. What he's talking about, by the way, and what that take is he's talking about like the old D3 having auction house and everything, having a deterministic way of farming out a piece of gear after a certain amount of time, right? Versus, you know, the new version of D3 without the auction house, without the trading, where he has to just keep doing rifts and shit, and just hoping to get better gear. But I feel like the Garyukov were very frequent, and you would get a lot of them, at least for the first week to a week and a half. And then after that, yes, you are literally just running, and you're actually not even farming for items, really. You're just farming for, at that point, you're just farming for main stat, and you're farming for the chance of getting a primal, right? And but that's not very motivating. You're like, I can't wait to farm out all my primals. Like, no, dude, you're not doing that. You're just gonna get your gem levels up, get your paragon up. You're gonna augment your gear, and then you're gonna push, and then you're gonna say, fuck this shit. This is cringe. I'm not gonna sit here farming out primals because fuck that. Because especially it's doubly fucked that as well, considering that it was just inundated with bots. Whereas before, you know, I guess with the more deterministic way of getting a piece of gear, he would have had a reason to like continue playing for weeks and weeks because he could guarantee get that upgrade that he wanted by buying it, right?
That's for end game players. So yeah, I'm actually asking for the opposite. Now I understand like Diablo is a game that's catered primarily towards casual players. But I don't think that catering primarily towards casual players means that you can't make content for hardcore players. And I think there's also like there's this myth of there being like a dichotomy between there's only the people that play, you're either level 41 or you're level 100. There are a lot of people out there who play the game every day, but they only play for like an hour, and they will hit level 83, or they'll hit like level 90.
And they're like, I feel like that's Twitch chat, right? Well, Twitch chat is like you guys like 4 hour a day. Twitch chat, I feel like from my vibe, obviously this is like the hardcore guys, but I think the average chatter is something like a 3 hour a day kind of Andy, 4 hour a day kind of Andy. And you know, you guys all get like an in-game character up and running, and you'll do it like you're not like complete casuals. But then you guys are abnormal. You guys are not the average player though, which is the thing, right? You're not, because the average player is just not what when they're playing their 1 hour a week or whatever the fuck. They're not even watching like Twitch, are they? They're just, Emmy
hardcore player base.
I don't know, doing sports
like
games
this
or
is
something.
what I'm talking about, by the way. Like literally exactly what I was talking about. 2 oppressors and then a succubus, and I'm just stuck here, re-killing these same normal mode mobs, over and over and over. I've cleared 9 waves and now nothing's spawning anymore.
That's bad coding.
And now the elite spawn. How exciting.
That's just
yeah,
a bug,
I think
right?
this game has a great foundation to continue growing and improving. I think that Blizzard has shown that they are willing to listen to the player base. And I think the development team for Diablo has done a very good job in doing that. So I have like a lot of faith in the game to improve and to get better. I think that the core gameplay of Diablo 4 is really, really good. And I think that it's more responsive and fluid than PoE in terms of like how it feels to kill monsters and stuff like that. And this comes as somebody who's like a major PoE fan. I basically quit Diablo 3 in order to play PoE.
But what about Alright, compare like the pinnacle moments of playing PoE to the pinnacle moments of playing D4 though. Like what even comes close to even the hype of even just, I mean, what boss comes even close to like, I don't know, the 5th best boss in PoE? Like whether that be like Maven or Awakener or whatever boss that is, whatever you think is the 5th best bosses, even if it's just Shaper, just normal Shaper. What boss even comes close to like how cool Shaper is and how good that gameplay is compared to like what the fuck happens in D4? Because I don't think there's anything coming even close to that in terms of gameplay. And I feel like, yes, the moment-to-moment combat of farming in D4 is probably actually smoother and a little bit cleaner than PoE. Actually, though, there's a bug. I have a big bug specifically with my with the fucking left-click rebind bullshit, which I don't talk about, but it's super annoying. And that actually, which would probably make, honestly, just that bug alone probably puts it behind PoE in gameplay. But let's say that bug didn't exist. Then I'd say, you know what? The fluidity of combat probably, and like the feeling of like just trying to hit a mob and then you hit the mob, it feels like there's less jank, so it's a little bit smoother, right? But that to me is like, that's just moment-to-moment farming. And when it comes down to it, the pinnacle moments of this game, the peaks, it's like this, right? It's like this. If you're talking like this, it's like time playing the game, and this is like combat and how good the combat is, and then okay, red is this is D4, okay, and then you've got PoE is this, okay, like it's like this, dude. You've got D4, and it's just like pretty good, and then you fight like an act boss, it's pretty good, whatever. You fight like another act boss, whatever, pretty good. You fight. Let's say this is Lilith, right? This is Lilith, cool. And then, okay, now you don't get anything. Okay, whatever, I guess it goes for ages. Maybe Uber Lilith is at the end and it's actually going to be big. I don't know. Right? I don't know about Uber Lilith, so we don't have that yet. Most people aren't going to kill Uber Lilith, though, so it's irrelevant. Okay, now PoE is like this, right? PoE is probably slightly shittier, right? I think it's slightly shittier. Right? But then, bang, you got like Kitava. Well, no, that's not even Kitava. You get like, honestly, Brutus, dude. I think it easily shits on this. Just Brutus. Mavale. Just fucking Kitava. And you get these fights, right? Whatever. And each time you do one of those fights, like even Dominus, dude, shits on anybody. Like Dominus is unironically, mechanically more scary and interesting to me than Lilith, bro. Which is like fucking ridiculous, right? And you get this, and then you start getting to the end game ones where it's like, whatever. Shaper. It's like, you can see how, yes, the average moment-to-moment combat is probably slightly worse, but the second you factor in the good boss fights and the pinnacle fights, which is stuff you're working towards, it just shits all over D4, which is like a massive L for D4 in my opinion in terms of gameplay, just because of how much they missed the mark with boss fights, right? Is Uber Lilith just going to randomly change my mind on boss fights, and am I going to be like, do you know what? That was totally worth it, dude. And I'm just going to be like, boom! Uber Lilith is the best designed boss fight of my entire life. It's so fucking good. And then it cancels out everything that happened before it. I just don't think so. I just don't think that's the case. But it could be. But I haven't got to that point. And guess what? 99.9% of fucking players in the game haven't got to that point, which makes it kind of irrelevant and pointless to even talk about. Because you're talking about something that like 0.01% of players are even going to engage with, which is that's not like the, what we're talking about here.
So like, that's kind of a big deal for me, like personally, to think that. So I just like to see them continue improving the game. And as I said before, I am very excited to see where this game goes. I think that the game will continue to improve and get better. And this is one thing that I would say to anybody who is like basically defending some of these bad decisions that Blizzard has decided to make, is that if you make excuses for a bad game, you get a bad game. I don't think players should make any excuses or be okay with any of the things that are wrong with the game. Whether it's the stash tabs being fucking garbage, whether it's having to redo Renown for seasons, whether it's having to, having these sorting things that are awful, and having no stash tabs at all, like 4 stash tabs, that's it. Like anybody that plays ARPGs knows you need more than that.
Yeah.
What if they don't think
I don't know who's defending that, though. I don't know. Any of the things you just listed there, I don't think anyone is defending that. I don't think anyone is. But the thing is, though, you could also get a bad game. You can path the way to like wanting the game to be good by saying, make the game easier, do this, make law loot drop, buff XP from everything. And they listen to that. It's like you've got good intentions because you think that's what will make the game better, but you actually make the game dog shit. You actually make the game dog shit. Which is, you can also have, you can be like, do all this stuff, it's like, it's both ways, right? I don't know.
Bad? Well, if they don't think it's, I think that there's a big difference, right? I acknowledge that other people don't have the same complaints that I have with the game, but I don't think that them not having the problem means that my problem is invalid. And if fixing my problem, if they don't care about the issue to begin with, why is it not a good thing that they fix a problem that some players have with the game? Does that make sense? So like, why is it good that Blizzard holds on and, you know, they try to, you know, adhere to like some mechanic? Oh, I don't care about this mechanic, it's not a big deal. Well, okay, that's fine. So then if you don't care about it, it wouldn't be a big deal if it got changed. I just hope that Blizzard's able to listen to players. I also think
well, an example would be this, right? He wants the pathing in the game to be completely like, so you click up there and then your character would run to the right, go like this, and then go, oh, you can't see what I'm doing. An example would be this, right? He wants them to fix a problem. Like when you click up here, what? Okay, it is actually doing it. What the fuck? Hey, it actually does it, bro. What the fuck? Oh my god, it does it. What the fuck? Okay, to be fair, it did after the second click. Yeah. Oh my god, it actually does it. Okay, whatever. He wants it to go like this. It's actually doing it, by the way. It's actually doing what it's describing, right? It just got hotfixed. Whereas I don't want that. And then what you need to do is you need to find out what the most people want, right? Or you have a fix which can be best of both worlds, like an option setting. So there's a way of implementing it that's like, if you just say, okay, you know, there certainly is like, there's some one autistic guy who's got all these problems, and they solve all those problems for that one autistic guy, and actually all those problems were like, actually, I want the game to fucking just make it the most dog shit game possible. Yeah, his shit is invalid. You got to ignore that guy. You got to ignore that guy. So that guy says, oh, do you know what? Delete all resource from the game and actually make everyone have infinite life, because I don't like it having resource issues, and actually I don't like my life taking damage. So let's fix the problem. I'm being obviously, I'm exaggerating hardcore, but yeah, his shit is invalid. You've got to invalidate his problems. You have to say, fuck that guy. He's retarded. Now, if lots and lots of people all think the same thing, and they think about it from a design standpoint, and then it also they have no way of, you know, arguing against it, then at that point you probably should make the change. Like, for example, I cannot see an argument for the fucking the bank system being implemented in the current way it is. It makes no sense, especially if you're considering people are going to have multiple characters. There's just not enough space. It doesn't make any sense. You do not have space for alts. You cannot store the stuff.
We should be able to zoom in more on our character. In Lost Ark, you have like the overhead view, you have the close-up view like this, and then you have one more view that's like right up close. I don't know why Blizzard doesn't do that, because it would give people another reason to look at their character, which would probably cause them to spend more money in the game, because they can see the armor that they buy more. So, like, I don't know why you can't do that. I think that Season 1 definitely needs a Tier 5 that gives hardcore players something more to do. And I would also like to see some of the early levels be a little bit less painful for druids and barbarians. And I'd also like to see more interesting items and stats. I think those are the main things that Diablo 4 needs the most
item
right
redesign,
now.
bro.
I would recommend the game. Absolutely. But I think that if you play it past level 70 to level 80, depending on what your RNG is, you are going to be effectively just repeating the exact same thing over and over.
My bad, sorry.
And you will get bored. And that's what they really need to fix. They need to fix that last fifth of the game. And if they do that, we're going to have a really, really solid game. Too soon for Tier 5 in Season 1, it would be great, but I think they said the patch for Season 1 is already in testing.
No, whole fucking fuck that shit. It's just in-game content and itemization that's bad. You don't need to, it's just, like, literally, you don't need the fucking extra tier. Fuck the extra tier.
Am I the only person who doesn't care about what Blizzard's internal rules are for developing content at a certain rate of time? I don't care if it's in the testing phase or not. It's not my job to care about their fucking process. Every day that the game is bad is bad. I'm not saying it needs to be fixed instantaneously. Of course I'm going to be reasonable about it, but don't create your own red tape based off of your corporate structure and then say that it's impossible when you're sending out hotfixes every fucking day to stop buffs or to stop class exploits. This is clearly not the case.
There's like a reality, right? There's a reality, and then that's the reality you're in. And I feel like the reality is, you know, they already can do server-side item changes, right? And then they probably just... I feel like they definitely can get shit in faster, though. Certainly, though. I'm sure there's a way of restructuring whatever bureaucratic system they've got going on in that fucking dog shit-ass company where they could fix... get some changes out faster, because there's no way, right? There probably is some way. I don't know. Maybe if people complain about it enough, they'll consider doing it. You know?
I don't care if... Oh, wow, we have to get this approved by Xbox again. Okay, well, you better start.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, shit, there it is. Whilst I disagree with a lot of the things you said in the video, I think overall, agree. Overall, agree. Like, ultimately, philosophy of what he's saying is, like, make changes faster, make the game less dog shit, give us more shit to do, balance the game a little bit more, and, you know, just do it, right? Just do it. And he thinks the game's overall pretty good, which, you know, but it's kind of like in a state right now, which is, like, kind of dog shit for hardcore players. Which I know, I wouldn't disagree. Now, the way he goes about, like, what they should do, I don't think, you know, I don't know, the way he goes about it, it's not the way I would go about it. Like, I don't think they should just add a reset dungeon thing in, for example. I don't think that, you know, I don't think that world tier being added is even necessary or even the right play after playing Diablo 3 and seeing them add in Torment many times. But overall, I agree. Let me move this shit over here.
Because he is God.